Hello, everyone. Welcome to Just 5 Minutes with Jay Neely. I'm Jay Billy, an elementary principal here in Lawrence Township, New Jersey, and my friend here is.
Hi, I'm Neely Bartley, and I am a middle school teacher and digital learning and innovation coach in Massachusetts.
Welcome to our short podcast. Try to stay at just 5 minutes just to kind of keep you in the loop. This week, we're going to extend our discussion last week of leading from everywhere. And we're going to talk about how are your students leading your school. This is something that Neely talks quite a bit about in her book and has a lot of great ideas and opportunities. I'm an elementary school principal, and so it often looks a little bit different in the elementary school. It often starts with students just understanding that they do have a leadership role, and really how they can take charge of the things that happen around them in their school. We have students. Sometimes it starts like this week. I had kindergartners doing persuasive writing. So really, the power that has is if somebody acts on something that they write about. So they came to me with a proposal. They wanted action figurines for their classroom. So they had to write it up and, present it to me. And then I wrote back with a letter saying how we could make that happen for their classroom. It gives them, not only makes them feel empowered, but it makes them feel that their words have power. And I think that's very, very important. Other things we do at the elementary level, and there's a lot of those things, about voice and choice and really giving kids opportunities to show how they can lead differently. Coming up this Monday, one of our students is going to be principal for a day. And so that's an opportunity for our students to see another student taking the leadership roles and doing things in the building that are important, things that I have to do every day, and seeing what leaders do. In the past, we've had our students, when there's something they felt important about, go to city council meetings to change things like the way roads are lined, or started. One of our classes once got a stoplight put up at a busy intersection. Or in the past, we stopped them from building a hotel near a lake that's in our township, because that's where a lot of nature opportunities took place for our students. So we do a lot of things like that. The kids making decisions about what happened. Oh, this year we had students came to me and they wanted to get rid of straws in the cafeteria. They felt, they saw a video about, straws and turtles, and they said, can we get rid of straws? So we did, and we taught our students how to, drink from the milk carton without straws. Not a big deal, something very simple we could do, but these students felt empowered because we took what they said seriously. So those are just a few things we can do at the elementary level, I think, to really empower our students and make them show that their leadership and their ideas matter.
Jay, that was so beautifully said. Honestly, that may be my favorite segment of any of our podcasts from listening to. That was awesome. And we come to these little conversations having not really a big idea on what each other is going to talk about when we get into the details. And that was fantastic. You hit on so many good points. And I think the biggest piece is that it's a mindset, right? If we're really going to see leadership as a shared responsibility, we've got to give that opportunity to our kids. Think about how many more students there are in a building than adults. And so they make up so much of our buildings that if we don't give them voice and empower them to make changes and to lead, then we're really missing out, as I've stated before. And when you walk into Jay's building, and I know I was in your old school before, but you can tell that he has this mindset. And I walked in, I think when Beth and I came to visit you, it was or maybe it was just me, it was a big art day. And students were leading all these projects, and it wasn't the staff members that were speaking for them. So I think if administrators have that mindset that students can certainly lead, then you're going to feel it as soon as you walk in the building. You also talked about starting in the classroom with something like a persuasive essay, right? when we give kids the opportunity to have an audience, right? They're not just doing this paper to like, just hold on to it. If they have an audience and they know that what they create, what they experience, what the project is that they're learning, the writing matters, and that they can actually do something with it, that changes everything. And so I think that that point is super important too. I always kind of tell my students, like, they always hear this: "You are our future leaders. You are our future leaders." But my question is, why wait? Right? So I think that mindset is huge. And if you're doing things in the classroom with students, the quote that always stays with me, and I think it's anonymous, I'm not sure who the author is, but it's, "Kids can do amazing things if we let them." Right? So there's so many examples that we can think about. I mean, whether you're doing like project-based learning that can then turn into service learning and extend itself beyond the classroom, Genius Hour, Innovation Time, or you're doing like a student-led ed camp. I think, a lot of the beginning of my book talks about this, that we, have the responsibility of encouraging students to lead beyond their own titles too. And when we do that, as a result, they end up leading with us and often leading us, right? And so I think when you're doing these, opportunities in the classroom and finding time for them, then that lends itself to taking the class out of the room, right? And from there, you can have your students teaching another class something, and they can be teaching you guys something, and all of a sudden they're tutors for each other, which takes the pressure off of the teachers as well, right? You can ask students to lead PD. When I had kids leading PD sessions on Brain Pop several years ago, not only did it benefit the teachers, but I can say, "Hey, you can try this." When you see students doing it, that's all the evidence you need is right there, right? And then, of course, for the rest of the year, they were getting high fives in the hallway because it deepened the relationship between those staff members and students, and really made us all human and all leaders. Um, the only other thing I want to say, and if we can get this, if this is too long, we can certainly cut it off, but I'm really inspired by Beth Huff when it comes to opportunities for student leadership as well. She does a whole day and she shares about this day. There's been a video about it where there's like a keynote and a closing, and students and staff members lead sessions together all day long. And in my school, we're going to hopefully try something similar soon. But the idea is, when you're creating opportunities for students to lead, or when they come up to you and they create the opportunities themselves, share it like crazy, right? We just took 9 student leaders to a conference the other day, and myself, my principal, and another colleague, and they knocked it out of the park. And people were blown away because you don't see it that often that students are leading sessions. And whether it was because they're leading clubs or school-wide initiatives, or it was something that happened from the classroom that extended beyond, such as a service learning project, they talked about, their experiences with digital leadership, coding, kindness week, social justice, climate change. And there isn't anything quite like it, the power of giving students that voice to share their experiences in the school and beyond.
That's awesome, Neely. Thanks for sharing. And this is just 5 minutes with Jay and Neely, which went probably about close to 10, but we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very, very much.
Bye, everybody.